All right, look who we've locked down, Junkie Nation. On a Saturday, it's Abe Kawa from First Round Management. How you doing, Abe?
I'm doing good, man. How you guys doing?
Good, man. What's going on in the 305, the state of Florida? You guys kind of roll, with your own swag sometimes is what I hear.
Man, dude, listen, they tell us to lock down and people don't do it here. And the governor was just basically like, you know what? Cases are down. There's plenty of sun, plenty of, salt water. You guys go do your thing. And if it gets nasty, we'll shut you down. If not, let's get this thing rolling again. And I'm kind of glad he did because we got MMA back thanks to the state of Florida. So you know what, all you guys in Florida, hey, you're welcome.
Definitely.
You're welcome.
And either way, no matter what you decide to do, we're always thinking about our MMA brothers and sisters in Florida. So always best wishes to you, your all your people down there, your family, your friends, your teammates, everything, to stay safe so we can get through this and then get back to stadiums and arenas full, and get MMA back to what it was. But we, at least like you said, the ball's rolling.
Right. I can't wait, dude. I'm not gonna lie to you. I can't wait. A part of me really loved the no audience thing, but another part of you know how it goes. You walk in there, that electricity, that feel. It's like huge football game, just the same way. That electricity. You man, that's crazy. I can't wait for that. I'm excited for it.
I agree. All right. So listen, with Buzz and I think the one thing we've always prided ourselves on is we don't come at from much respect to the journalists that do this. We have great guys on our staff that can do the more straight up, laced up questions. I'm a fan. I just want to know what happened with Jones and Ngannou. It looked like it was going to go down, and then it didn't. So A, what happened? And B, can it still happen? Is this just part of the negotiation phase?
Listen, it can always still happen. One thing we have is tremendous amount of respect for Dana and the guys up there. Whenever the fans really want something to happen, it happens. So that being said, it can always happen. That's never a straight no. It's not. It can absolutely happen. The situation was just, I don't want to get, too much into it. It was pretty much Jon wants to fight Francis. He's looking, to get compensated for it. And they were like, maybe not right now. It's not going to happen. And he just took it back. Sorry about that. He's just like, I can't believe it's not happening. And, yeah, that's pretty much the way it went down. There's nothing more to it. So in terms of negotiations and whatnot, it was just a flat no.
So from the interview that Jon Jones did with John Morgan, it sounded like just right away it was about money. Not necessarily that they didn't want the matchup. They just didn't want to give Jon what Jon wanted, correct?
Yeah, very easily said. You said it perfectly. I think everybody wants the matchup. I think everybody wants to see that happen. It'd be crazy not to, right? Like, I don't know what person out there doesn't want to see Jon versus Francis at some point. I think that's fair.
Right. And so what fans and media are having trouble understanding is even Dana's admitted there are going to be times when the fighter has leverage. And yeah, they have to maybe write a bigger check than usual. And I would think that now with part of the international roster not available and they want to get some big fights going. Do you have any idea why they just wouldn't relent and at least talk? I mean, to not even consider a bump in pay. I understand Jon Jones's point of view, and I also understand that there's two sides to the story. But I'm just guessing, what do you think led to them just no, we're not going to give you any more?
I'm not going to answer for the UFC. That's a loaded question. I don't know why. You'd have to ask the UFC that question on why they just said no. I'm pretty sure you guys can get to Dana at some point. I have my own thoughts on what could be the reason, but I don't know that they're even valid. So I'm not going to put that out there and try to formulate something that may not even be real. So I'm not going to do that. I just if Dana says he's not ready to do the fight, there has to be a reason for it. I think that question needs to go to Dana and let Dana answer it to everybody.
So now Jon just reverts to being the UFC light heavyweight champion, and now we're presented with the deck of cards that has one faces on the card is Thiago Santos, Jan Blachowicz, Dominic Reyes, and I guess maybe even Glover Teixeira, who's won 4 in a row. Where do you want to lead your client? I think you've always stated you want to make money for your guys. Is the Dominic rematch the most lucrative fight at this point, or is there another direction you guys are taking?
This is my own opinion. I'll let Jon at some point, address this when he's ready. But Jon has in his own words, and he said, Blachowicz is the next guy. To him, Jon has never shied away from the number one contender. He's only fought number one contenders his whole life. That's all he's been doing. So to say that, Reyes, Blachowicz, Teixeira, Santos, I believe in my eyes, it's all the same. Not one of them is going to excite you more than the other. Blachowicz maybe because he's one we haven't seen with Jon. We've seen Glover, we've seen Santos, and we've seen Reyes. Blachowicz is one that we haven't seen with Jon, and he's, he carries a power, a pop there. So, that might be the one, and he's, I believe rightfully the number one guy. And if that's the guy, then that's the guy. But I will never tell you guys Jon has this guy in mind other than what he's already said, and he's already said that it's Blachowicz. So I would probably go the Blachowicz route.
Okay, let's go to another one of the superstars on the first round management roster, Jorge Masvidal. Everything pointed toward Kamaru Usman and Jorge Masvidal on International Fight Week. Now, this was like 3 months ago. We were hearing this when there was an International Fight Week scheduled, when we were going to get to that card, at the T-Mobile, and of course the pandemic, whole other thing we're dealing with here. But about a month ago, Dana teases we might have another plan for Jorge. Is that still in play, or have we reverted back to Usman? Because it seems like June is already filling up, so July's coming around. I keep hitting refresh on MMA Junkie, waiting to hear that Usman and Masvidal are going to dance, but I still haven't seen it yet.
Man, I'll tell you, this is one of the craziest setups I can kind of put out there. I definitely know Jorge wants to fight somebody. I could tell you, he definitely wants to fight somebody. That person we're all going to find out very shortly. I don't want to give too much away, but I will say Jorge's been a man of his word since I've known him. He's never lied or said something and then something else happened. He's not that kind of guy. When he says, this is what I want, this is what I want to do, that's what happens. He gave somebody his word, so we'll see. We'll see. I can't say too much right now, but it's going to be fun.
MMA welterweight, MMA lightweight, or
we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. It's we'll see. I can't give you too much, man. Not right now. I can't do it. It's not the right time for that. But Jorge's in camp. He's training. He's ready to rock and roll. So we'll be looking forward to a fight, whether it's in July or a little bit later. That'll be fine too. But he's absolutely ready to rock and roll.
Okay, how about this? If it's not Usman, would the Usman fight be later in the year, or does it come with the caveat that, okay, you kind of lose your place, and now maybe the winner of Woodley and Burns or Covington or Leon Edwards steps in? Like, is that how it works? Or?
I think one of the beautiful things about him being the BMF and being the only BMF in the sport, and then now when you bring it down to the 170-pound division, one of the beautiful things about that is, in a way, he's above the welterweight title. He's the one belt holder. Even, if you want to compare and do this and do that, a guy like Henry Cejudo, he has an Olympic gold medal. He's the only one that has it, but it's never up for grabs in MMA. Jorge has the one title, the one thing that nobody else has. I don't care if you're Conor, if you're Henry, if you're Usman, it does not matter who you are. Nobody has that belt. That belt belongs to Jorge. He just so happens to be at 170 pounds. So if you want to fight him, I think you've got to come to the table with something other than I'm just, I've got this. The truth is, if Jorge tomorrow wanted to drop to 155 pounds and challenge the title holder there, he has that ability. He's technically a champion. At 170, he can challenge the current champion. It's really up to Jorge. I believe the division goes as Jorge goes. I don't think anybody is clamoring to see a rematch with Usman and anybody, or Usman and the next guy. I think everybody's looking for Jorge versus that guy. That's just current events, current state of the 170-pound division. So, yeah, him being the BMF title holder, he's a champion. I think he's the one moving that division. So the way he wants to go is the way the division goes. That's what he feels, and I buy that. I can see that.
I respect that you guys are going to hold on to your cards. That's fine. Can you at least tell us when do you think we'll know what no. that other possibility is, or if it's Usman, like a week, a month? No, I couldn't tell you that because things are still. It's very fluid. It's still moving, and until we get that okay or that whatever it may be that we're looking for,
then at that point, everybody will know. So I don't know. I don't know if it's going to be a week. I don't know if it's going to be 2 weeks. I don't even know if it's going to be in a day. It could come today. And when that happens, you guys, everybody will know. Everybody will know. I got to keep it close to the heart. I just want you to know, I got to keep it close to the heart. I want to tell you guys, believe me, I want to tell everybody, but for this one, I'm going to keep close to my heart.
Abe, let's go to Tyron Woodley. He's fighting in less than a week. Basically fight week at this point. I know that fight had many directions. It had another location in London. It had another date. It had a bunch of other opponents trying to jump in there. He settled on Woodley versus Warren. Warren is coming off a huge win. And I wanted to ask, Woodley obviously wants another crack at the title. If Woodley wins, and it's emphatic, maybe like a Jan Blachowicz style type of win, do you think that gets him the title shot?
I think he's absolutely earned it. I wouldn't sit here and tell you he didn't. He absolutely earned it. He goes out there and knocks out Gilbert Durinho. Are you talking about a guy who's was one of the most active champions in the UFC had? He was one of the winningest champions. I mean, at 170, the guy's done it all. He's done everything. So for him to go out there and finish Gilbert Durinho, I think he would have earned his title shot back. Not that he deserves it. He earned that right to be able to go back in there and say, hey, I want my title shot. Yeah, absolutely.
I asked that question because, as you've seen with Jones, your other client, Jones, when he beat Santos, everybody said, oh, we got to do that rematch. And, of course, Santos had the knee injury or the knee surgeries, and so he was put on the shelf. Then comes Reyes, and that's a classic. And we're like, woo, we got to see that one. Then comes Blachowicz, and he knocks out Corey Anderson. And then we all go, oh, man, Blachowicz is in the house. So I know how the game can change from fight to fight. And that's why I was asking about Woodley, because welterweight is so stacked with so many guys, so many moving parts. I always wonder if the athlete knows that a little bit of that pressure is there. And, of course, you all that surround him, the emphatic finish versus the decision, or at least one hell of a fight, even if it goes to a decision.
I'm with you on that. And I think our sport is so dominated by fans, and I love that. And I love that Dana's a kind of guy that does it for the fans, and I think that's why our sport has grown so much. We got a guy in charge that does it for the fans. He doesn't necessarily do it for anybody else. And that being said, all has to happen is the fans just need to get behind something, and next thing you know, we got it. We're spoiled in that way. Believe it or not, as fans, we are spoiled that way. So I think Tyron goes out there, he does what he's supposed to do, and he does it the way he can do it. Who wouldn't want to see Tyron back in there fighting the way he should? In other words, fighting the way that he would that guy. So if he goes out there and he knocks Gilbert out, I think, people would say, man, I would love to see him go in there and knock out whoever has a belt. So it becomes not so much who he's fighting against. It becomes people want to see him because he's bringing that excitement to it. And I think he knows that. And, we're counting on him taking care of business no matter what.
When we've been following him on social media, and he does seem like he has a lot of pent-up energy and anger, and he's ready to throw down.
An angry Tyron is a scary Tyron, man. I've been telling people for a while now, that man is mad. And it's not that he's mad at everybody else, he's mad at himself. I think that in that he's gonna show the world, I think he's just mad that he wasn't able to perform, but he wanted to perform the way he knows he can perform. So it's scary. It's a scary man.
All right, Abe, just a couple more here. It's your fault for having such a talent-laden roster.
Sorry. I'm sorry.
Jared Cannonier, update us on him. I feel like the winner of Israel and Costa – the winner of Israel and Costa would probably have to face Cannonier because he's kind of built up a pretty nice middleweight resume. Is that how you guys feel? And if those guys are fighting maybe in July, we're hearing Fight Island might be active in July. Those are international fighters I just brought up. And so – will Cannonier be ready by October-ish when I think the winner of Izzy and Costa would be ready to defend?
Potentially. And, fight's not happening, and giving him time to just rehab has been critical for him. So we're looking to get him back. And as soon as he's ready, I won't push him until he is ready. A lot of times guys are like so anxious because we're right there. But you can't go in there if you're 80% fighting guys like Izzy and Costa and even Gastelum and those kind of guys. You've got to be closer to 100% than you are, at 80, especially the type of injury that he had. So I would say we're looking just to get him healthy. Once he's healthy, we're gonna look at the way, you know, the picture, and then we'll make a move based on that. It would be wrong for me to stay and tell you, yeah, we're looking tomorrow to go and fight this guy. If he's not healthy, things can change, you know, moment to moment. So we'll wait until he's healthy, and then we'll give you a good update on like where we're going next with him.
Is Thug Nasty the next superstar in MMA? Like, do we want to put that pressure on him, or do you feel like, hey, he would love to hear that and he's ready for it? Tell me about that guy. Update us also on the camo shorts. Is that for
Yes.
real or
Yes.
Okay?
Yes. Camo shorts are absolutely for real. He will definitely have those coming to him. We've gotten all that squared away. That's a good thing. Do I think he's the next superstar in the UFC? I think the 145-pound division hasn't seen a guy like him yet. There's a lot of good guys at 145, a lot of good, you know, up-and-comers and guys that are already there that are very popular. What Bryce is bringing to the table is just, you know, I don't know about you, but it was one of the very first times I was really excited to watch, you know, a jiu-jitsu match like that. You know, it was fun. It was a guy going for a double leg straight into a twister or something. I've never seen that before in my life. You know, it was fun. It was a really, really fun time. So not so much just, you know, his personality of a pretty much a country boy. He's a country boy. He's a guy that, you know, he kills his own food. He eats his own food. He skins his own meat. It's like he is that guy. He's that guy that, you know, we can all fall in love with. And he's got a real mean streak to him. So I think it makes it even better for us as fight fans to get behind him. So I think the sky's the limit for him. He trains hard. He is a phenomenal athlete. And, yeah, 45ers got to watch out for that. For Bryce Mitchell, man, he's special. Absolutely special.
Are you ready to unleash him on them top cats, or do you still feel like there's one more fight and you want to ease into him, into those, you know, the big matches?
I think we want to do it just, you know, maybe another one or two before he gets to that top 15, because top 15 is good. There's just killers in that division, man. Everybody there is a killer. And if, you know, if we're not ready to put him in there, then, you know, we're not. And that's not taken away from the guys he's beating. Those guys are good, man. Everybody in the UFC is good. Everybody is good in the UFC. So nobody gets a pass on that. And the way he's been able to do it has just been, you know, it's been spectacular. So I still think I want to give him one more, even two, if that's, you know, the thing before he cracks that top 15 and starts really going in there with that murderous row that they've got over there at 45.
All right, just a couple more here. Dominick Cruz, he's already back and ready to go. He's letting the world know, hey, you just call me and I'll be there. When he comes back, where do you think he's going to come into? Like, have you been inquiring about if Henry's staying retired? His manager said that he thinks he's not going to stay retired. And where do you think Cruz fits in the puzzle? Because we already see that Aljamain's fighting Sandhagen. So now I'm thinking, well, if Cejudo stays, is he fighting Jan? Is UFC thinking of running it back? I mean, I don't think they are. If he retires, is Cejudo slipping in there against Jan? Is Moraes still fighting? I mean, I don't know. My mind's going crazy here.
Can I tell you what my dream matchup is? Forget rankings, forget everything. My dream matchup at 135 pounds is Jose Aldo versus Dominick Cruz. I find myself to be, you know, giddy over that. And it's not to take away from the other guys there. It's just, we all remember when Dominick was sitting at the top of the 35-pound division and Aldo was sitting at the 45-pound division. And I can sit there and say to you, I've always been intrigued by that matchup. The fact that Aldo can make 35, I'm sitting here going to myself, please, let's make this fight somewhere, somehow make that fight. That's got to be a great fight for the fans. And if you're a fan of the sport, come on. Not to, again, unless it's going to be for the belt again and, you know, we put it there, then I don't know. I don't know that another fight makes a whole lot of sense. That's just my 2 cents. And listen, Dominick's a smart guy. He knows exactly where he's going with the stuff that he wants to do. This is just me. I'm talking to me as Abe the fan, not Abe the agent. Abe the agent, we'll sit down and we'll work something out with the UFC and them and try to get Dom right back into the title picture.
And do you think that idea? Do you think that idea that you have has legs? Like, or are we still kind of just a little bit in La La Land? That's what Abe wants, or have you heard that has a strong possibility? Because you're right, us WEC fans, man, we saw those guys, you know, a long time ago. ruling UFC and then the WC and then coming over to the UFC. So I hear exactly what you're saying. That would definitely have some great pop. And when our fans hear this, they're going to wonder, okay, cool. Is that just Abe still dreaming, or have you heard the inner workings that it's got legs?
I'm a dreamer. No, I think first and foremost, I have to sit with Dom and make sure that's something Dom would want to do. I know when we spoke before it was. So, if that's Dom's ultimate goal is to be champion again and to rightfully defend his title all the way through. I believe that's the ultimate goal. So if Aldo is a way to get there, then of course we're going to explore it. If Aldo's not a way to get there, then I don't know that Aldo's the answer. So no, in terms of me being in La La Land and me doing all that, that's just Abe the fan saying that. Hopefully now maybe we get some legs behind it and it builds up. If not, and if let's say the answer is fighting Marias and Marias gets us right back into there, then I think we could do it. The other side of it is that fight got stopped really, 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 really early. I don't care what referee has to say, what anybody else has to say. I've never seen a fight get stopped outside of the guy who faked, whatever Cutabella doing the fake thing where they're moving and they actually stopped the fight. That was a little weird. I remember when Colby, they jumped in and stopped the fight on Colby. Colby was legit putting his hands over his head and he stopped moving. That never happened with Dominick. So I do feel that it was stopped early and sucks. Like it just sucks. It's a really bad case. So I'd like to see Dominick fight for the title again. He really was ready and really was prepared to go in there and perform.
All right, my last question is: when you wake up and see Conor talking about GOAT, greatest of all time, he throws a couple names, but his name is above Jon Jones's. Do you wake up and find that to be fun? All right, let's see what Jon has to say, or whatever. Or is it in any way like offensive? Does it ever even impact? Like, I guess I'm wondering, like, if there's like a big sponsorship out there and they see these types of headlines, is that where you're like, hey, you know what? I got to go back to bat for my guy and show off the stats. It's my guy. It's not
didn't.
George,
I actually when I saw that, I as soon as I saw it, I just go to myself and I was scratching my head and I was just like, okay, here we go. One, Jon and Conor will never fight, right? Like that's a fight that's never going to happen. No commission unless Conor grows 2 inches and puts on, an extra 40, 50 pounds. There's no way in the world anyone will approve Conor versus Jon. So that automatically gets thrown out of the window. So it's very easy to say I'm the GOAT because blah, 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 when you've got other guys that, one, are bigger, stronger, faster, have done more in the sport than you. Two, you create this thing, and I actually don't think Conor was going at Jon initially. I think after he tweeted what he tweeted about Jon being 4, then he was like, oh, wait, I actually like Jon and, all this stuff. I think he kind of caught himself. And then I saw what Jon tweeted back to him, and I just started laughing. And I'm going to myself, the people who think they're GOATs, they typically don't have to tell you or prove to you that they're a GOAT. We all saw Michael. We all saw Michael Jordan do what he did, and I think it's consensus he's the GOAT. He would never have to even open his mouth to tell you that. It's just we saw it. It was proof in the pudding, And I take that to MMA too because we're playing in fantasy land where 2 guys are never going to fight, and we'll never know that answer. But the other side of that is if you go with resumes and you want to sit there and say, well, I did this and I finished this guy and I did that guy. Okay, you're right, and I've said this many times publicly. Conor is a badass. He's not a guy you sleep on. What he's done in the sport is very, very impressive. That being said, if you look at resumes, I think Jon holds almost every single record. Like I don't know that there's a record Jon doesn't hold at light heavyweight. He's defended he's defended his title. Conor's never defended 1 title. So is Conor a GOAT? I don't know if Conor's a GOAT. I don't know who's a GOAT. I think it's a very personal question, and so it's subjective. It's subjective to who you're asking. Me, I'm going to be biased, and I'm going to say, I think I've got 2 guys on my roster that are GOATs. I think BJ's a GOAT, and I think Jon is a GOAT. I think both those guys are GOATs in their own rights. But I will say, I think the world would be interested in seeing Jon versus Conor in some sort of competition. Whatever it may be, I think it would be awesome, and I would love to put that on some sort of platform and make that a thing. That would be awesome. I think there's money to be made there.
Well, we'll definitely think of some ideas in the future for our next future interview, and we'll present you 3 or 4 ideas. You know, we'll have to think about that because you're right. We got
I
to see
love it.
compete at something.
Love
Hey,
it.
real quick, I knew you were going to say DJ is also the other guy. A lot of people have said that he could be the GOAT as well, but I'm curious, outside of those two, who would be the next person?
Man, I think what Tyron did at welterweight, he's a welterweight GOAT. You know, if you look at what he did, who he fought, he never said no to number 1 contender. He went through the whole thing. I think Tyron's one of the other guys, definitely that's a GOAT. I would think, yeah, I would think Tyron. Tyron's another guy that's up there. I'm trying to go through my list in my head, and I'm drawing a blank of anybody else that I got that I would put in that same conversation. Tyron at welterweight, definitely a GOAT. DJ is definitely one of the GOATs of all times. The amount of times he defended his title and the way he did it with the finishes and all that, I think he's up there. Jon, I think, is a no-brainer for that. Yeah, I think that would be it. And I got the BMF, so I got a bunch of GOATs in the BMF. I'm good, man. I'm good.
But if I let it go at this, I'm going to catch heat. You got to give me a name outside of first round management too.
Oh man, okay. Give you a name outside the first round that would. Well, I've always thought Dominick was and he's not outside first round, but I always thought Dominick was the 135-pound GOAT. No questions asked on that one either. And you know, there's a thing there that Dominick beat DJ, so you know you would take that from him. But just in terms of weight classes, there's always those GOATs. I would say Aldo was the 45-pound king, but the way Conor did it, I think maybe Conor beat a lot of guys at 45. That is not a BS remark. He beat a lot of good guys at 45. He's probably up there with it, and him beating Aldo, he might be the 45-pound GOAT, in my opinion. At 85, who was at 85 that was really like, GSP is a GOAT, right? Like that's a given. He's one of the guys that pretty much has done everything. He's up there.
The name I was kind of thinking you were going to say.
Say it again. Yeah, it has to be. It has to be. I'm just going to weight classes and going in my head and saying, okay, there's this guy and there's that guy. I would put. I think Khabib has a little bit more to do before he's really considered the GOAT at 55. And I don't know. I think he can, and I think he's definitely in the conversation for that. But it's the only reason why I say he still has more to do. The names, like the champions and former champions that each one of those guys beat, are there. I don't know if Khabib has that. I don't think he's done that yet. I think the guys that he's being outside of Conor, which Conor was a name that he beat that actually came with accolades. I don't know where he's at there for it. Okay. Outside of him, yeah. I will tell you the best fighter that's never won a belt is Yoel Romero. Hands down.
He's a stud, man.
He's beaten more former title holders and division champions than anybody else that doesn't have a belt.